what's that word, Keys? Refuting or
Yeah,
disagreeing with
refuting
everything. Yeah,
everything.
refuting everything he said. Eric Weinstein was so, in my opinion, was so disrespectful to Terrence Howard. Tell him stop talking, stop teaching. All types. He was just saying all types of crazy shit, especially when he started drinking. I felt as though when they started drinking, the interview got more and more disrespectful because the interview was about 3 or 4 hours long. But my question to you is, if Terrence Howard could hear you talk now, and like I said, I didn't see the video you did, and I don't know what you said, but what would you say? Because I did a video with Blue Pill, and a lot of people watch it. If Terrence Howard was watching now, or a representative is, what would you say to the brother about the interview that he did with Terrence, with Joe Rogan and Eric Weinstein, my brother?
Mm. Well, you know, I watched a little bit of your interview before I
Yeah.
did mine, so I quoted you all a little bit in it as well.
Mm.
And people have been asking me about when it first came out. I got so many DMs.
Oh, I can imagine. I can
Right? And
imagine.
we had reached out to Terrence Howard and
Yeah.
his team months
Oh,
prior to this because I had
Terrence
seen.
Howard on High Level Conversations. But hold up, Keys. Let me just say that. Terrence Howard on High Level Conversations. Can we put some energy out there in the quantum field to project that? Wow. Wow. Go ahead, my brother. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So we reached out to them, and at the time he was literally filming, so the timing
Yeah.
didn't work. And after the episode, after so many people pressed us about it, we reached out again. I think I put out a post, and someone his team reached out to us, and he actually was going to do the interview, but he wanted to do it like this online, and I wanted to do it in person. So I decided to postpone it until we can do it in person,
Mm.
right? And as I watched the second one, because I was already enjoying and impressed by Terrence Howard's interest level in science and mathematics. When he went out to Oxford and he started talking about the vortices and the linchpins and unified theories and, you know, all of the different ideas that he was presenting to the world. And I was taken back by the way he was received, to where there was this automatic criticism that this black man was crazy because he's interested in science and he's challenging science and these ideas that haven't been challenged, and most person don't know these ideas to challenge them. There's so many things that we accept as truth when there's theories that haven't been proven whatsoever, and they have all of these flaws within their theories. But because the layman is not part of that society, have the language to explain it, right, or challenge them, then they're left as held as wholesome truth. And it's just not the case.
Yeah.
And what we learn is that there was a study that was done on black language, specifically Ebonics. And it was
Yes.
speaking on how Ebonics is actually more sophisticated,
Uh-oh.
right, than
Uh-oh.
PhD English, right,
Uh-oh.
traditional English, because it was
Uh-oh.
talking about inside the words, right, there's all of these tenses, there's all of these moods, there are all of these subjects that it is inside what's considered to be Ebonics, which is not just like ghetto language, it's you know, English language from the hood, but also like Haitian language and a couple other different things that's thrown in the mix. But this professor, who was a linguistic professor, was just breaking down how it's actually way more sophisticated because it has way more rules inside of it. But because it is not the traditional language that is used, it is easily being seen as this person is of low level intelligence because they
Yes.
speak like this, even though it's more sophisticated than traditional English, right? Or the Queen's English, or people that are in some of these Ivy League schools and what they speak.
Yes.
So just because you're not operating within the norm, you're automatically considered unintelligent and
Mm.
or lazy, when it's not laziness whatsoever, right? It is actually, you know, a height of intellectuality, the same way rapping is, right? It requires so many different rules inside of it. And this is by them measuring their own rules. So I look at that same thing. When one doesn't take the traditional path of education, they're going to have a more creative mind, right? They're going to pull from so many different sources. When you are a disciple, you take on the discipline of that which you are discipled from. So the
Yeah.
way you think about words, the way you think about things will be linear based on the path that they take you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on you developing your mind into these studies and what has agreed upon to be true. So
Yeah.
when you are learning based on your interest, you're not going to take a linear path. You're going to take a path that is completely based on your interest, and you're going to learn at the speed that is necessary for you to dive deeper into those interests, based on you mastering the language, based on you having an understanding on it, right? So that you can start to contextualize what these things mean to you. And so Terrence Howard is somebody who has took a nonlinear path of learning that has been a creative path of learning that is completely based on his interest, right? This man was able to understand 90% of all of the concepts that Eric Weinstein had thrown at him. He wasn't getting lost in the conversation. He was there with him. That shows me that he has spent an enormous amount of time on his interest of learning mathematical theories, equations, ideas, science, right? Studying these different ideas that are not even from a consensus standpoint agreed upon, but then you have to ask yourself, why do all the scientists agree upon in the first place?
Right.
Because
right.
most of the time they're forced to. If you're not more intelligent than the person who presented it or in that community, in the way that scientific papers are published and or presented, right, then of course you're going to assimilate and you're going to conform to those ideas and you're going to use their theories, because to present your own will leave you discredited. And there's only so much funding in the mathematical and scientific world. So you're going to present ideas that allow you to get money as well. We don't talk about that in the science community. But Terrence Howard is not somebody that's trying to publish a paper. He is completely speaking upon his interest, and he is speaking upon the mafia that is the science community, right? And the mafia that is the mathematical community, this religion, this fraternal order. And he's saying, look, the way that I've studied, I've found things that I think there's something wrong. He said that this is based on the Christian ideology and the way that you built the world. So you created the math and the science to fit your ideology. But from the Black God mind, you have to understand the way that we speak is so powerful. And this is something that Eric Weinstein and the rest of them, they was trying to figure out, how is he able to speak in this rhythm? And this is one thing that they don't have. Because in Kemet, we didn't just study the mind, we studied the spirit. But they only took the psyche, something that was measurable to them, because they didn't have the power of the unseen. So when we talking spirit, we talking ka. We talking breath. And what breath does is it gives life to things and it animates. That is our power as a people. We're charged up with energy to animate life. So we animate things when we speak. We're animated in how we talk and how we move, right? In a way that we dance. We talk about science and mathematics in an animated way. And that becomes an art, and it becomes a frequency, and it becomes a poetic license. But it does not mean it's not truth. Right? Just because we don't agree upon supersymmetry as the word that is defined by you and the lineage of this word and the way that you use it in this mathematical sense, doesn't mean I can't take the word super and symmetry and use it, right, in a sophisticated way to define something that I mean. So instead of starting from you at the center as a baseline, let's start from my center, right? And the one thing I respect from Eric Weinstein is he was saying, I need to get a complete picture of you before we can have this conversation, which is something that we can take from it, because we don't always say, okay, when you say God, what do you mean? So when you say Muslim, what do you mean? I don't know what you mean when you say Muslim. I don't know your definition, your connotation. I don't know the root. I don't know your attitude towards it whatsoever. I don't know when you say Islam exactly what you mean. I know what my experience changes my definition and my connection to it. So we have to start the conversation, right? Building what he called a strong man, a foundation of rules that one can go over so that we can start building foundation to figure out what is right and what is wrong. And one thing that he did say, and I think that Terrence Howard should take from this, is that in the field of engineering, which is animating, bringing things to life, building something, he said you have more to contribute in the field of engineering than you do mathematics, right? Because engineering does not require, a visionary can engineer an idea. He comes up with it. He does not have to have the perfect mathematics. Imagination doesn't require to have perfect mathematics. Imagination actually ignores all laws when it comes up with things. I don't care about gravity. When the first man imagined a spaceship, imagine a plane, he don't care about gravity. Don't care about what your science can do. Don't care about what your mathematics can do. No, he had a thought that he brought from one dimension into the next, and that is the God mind. That's how we operate. So Terrence Howard is tapping into the God frequency. And as we are in the age of supercomputers, we're going into the age of the superhuman. And we're in the age where technology is the most disruptive. We are in a disruptive age. Innovation and creativity disrupts because it takes what is current, right? And it's, I don't care about none of that. I'm going to innovate something different. And when I innovate and I create and I invent and I patent, it's going to change everything else. So now the world has to change based on creativity. It is a disruptive force. So when one is thinking in a creative capacity, they have a disruptive mind to change the status quo. So the status quo has the job to fight back. It has to try to discredit the same way they try to discredit influence and or voices. You can't have power over science. You can't have power over mathematics. You think you a god now? So they go call you crazy to discredit all your ideas. But what does crazy mean? How does he fit the bill and standard of a man that is crazy when in every other area in his life he is thriving psychologically and financially? Damn. So tell me how this man is crazy. Why? Because he's challenged you and any black man in America that challenges the challenges. Crazy. It's crazy. So to my brother Terrence Howard, you have a space that is built to show the world that you're not crazy. It is for to educate culture. It is to disrupt. It is for Black intelligentsia. It is the brain trust of the world, right? And you can come on high-level conversations, and we will respect your mind and your ideas as we showcase them to the world. Let's build.
Indeed. Indeed. And I hope his people hear that. He's welcome here. He's welcome on high-level conversations. I really hope they hear that. Last question I have, like I said, I mean, absolutely magnificent. And you said black people got to be animated, so I gotta sway when I say this.
Yeah,
absolutely magnificent interview tonight, my brother. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this, brother. I mean, thoroughly. That I gotta give complete body movement. I mean, shoulders, arms, yes, all that. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I want to last question before we get out of here. Based upon our conversation, I remember Bobby Hemmett saying one time that white and black people are diametrically opposed to each other. Based on everything that we said tonight, based on what I just said by Bobby Hemmett, what's your thoughts on that quote and us moving forward, progressing, building institutions, my brother? What's your thoughts on all of that, 19 Keys?
There is a scientific study,
yes, sir,
that speaks on the electromagnetic effect on human beings. Specifically speaking on how the sun rays affect human beings. So as we go through different, sunspots, right, where the sun has a cycle to where it reaches peak like every 3 to 4 years, it has an effect on human beings. And us being melanated, this study has done basically the effect that it has on Caucasians. It doesn't take in the fact of our melanin. So yes, we have different charges, literally.
Yeah.
Right. I think when we look at our hair and we see our hair defies gravity and it's a coil, right, of electricity positioning outward, that's that charge of electricity that we have within our cells. And then we see other people when their hair is flat, no charge. They're not thinking at the same level. And even when you show some of their scientists that do be thinking at a high level, their hair be frizzy and crazy and all that.
Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
He got the afro.
We're people that get charged up.
Shit. Yeah.
And we're going to build a different world with that charge. We have a cosmic destiny to align ourselves with the cosmos, the cosmic events that happen. And so as we look at the sun, some people look at astrology, but we can take it back to science and mathematics, right? And this is where I respect science and mathematics, because science and mathematics has a process. And when we are mathematical thinkers, we are logical and we are rational. And when we talk about today's math, we got to show and prove and we got to build. There are tribes within us, right? There's deep when we talk about the tribes. And the thing about the white and black is white was created to give white people privilege. If we go look at Bacon's Revolution was a time where, the lower class citizens of America had revolted together, combined together to fight the higher class, right? Because they weren't creating opportunities for them. They weren't creating jobs for them. So they said, wait a minute. All the farmers got together. Everybody got together and said, let's go against this government. They said, wait a minute. We got to do something about this. Let's create loans for, let's classify them and bring them together so they can understand that even if you're not a part of this, we can continue to use the Hermetic prophecies and these ideas that we've propagated that black people are inferior and this is why they're supposed to be in a demeaning position, right? So we can then say you are white. And if you are white and you come from this background, you can get a loan and we got some jobs for you. But you have the disconnect, right? The collaboration that you have with black Americans to never fight and oppose the 1%. So the white people was like, hey, sorry to tell y'all, man, but I didn't realize y'all was being treated bad because y'all niggas and we white men, we supposed to be treated good based on a good book and based on, you know, our superiority. So then white was created literally at a status of privilege, right? To disconnect people who go through the same existences as they fight, right? The institutions and the governments. Because the thing about this whole thing in America is that we're all in the same experiment. When they put GMO in the foods, when they put the chemicals in the big pharma, put the chemicals that have all of the side effects, oh, it's affecting all of the people at the bottom. It's affecting everybody. When they decide to get rid of jobs and technology and artificial intelligence come and they putting profit over people, oh, it's going to affect all of them. Yeah. So what is the most powerful thing that we can do? There first has to be, and this is something that I see if we thinking higher level, we thinking a little far out. Right? First, the people. It's always the people versus the machine. But the way that you keep imbalance and disorder is you have the people disconnected by all these titles and differences. So instead of fighting the people that put them in position, they blame each other. You're a Democrat. You're a Republican. You white. You black. You gay. You straight. Right? You Moor. You Israelite. You nation. You Sunni. Right? You have to figure out, you have to feed into all of their differences so they never have a conversation about going against you. Where the people that are diametrically opposed the most is the people that are in power, that want to continue to pursue an unrighteous agenda to stay in power, to keep the people at the bottom down. So we first look at that diametric opposition, right, of the have and the have-nots. Then once we clear that out, right, now we can go towards, all right, our diametric opposition as people and what our values are, right? To say, wait a minute, if you want to live like that, live over there. I want to live like that, I'm going to live over here. We're going to build our systems according to our beliefs and our values. And anybody that doesn't agree with those beliefs and values, go live where you are in agreement with them. Therefore, you can create systems of order to where people can live in harmony based on what they believe in. But that's going to be some time in the future, because as long as the people at the bottom are opposed against each other and not looking at it as if they're looking at it as if they're fighting each other instead of that they're fighting the machine, they will never get anywhere.
Wow. All right. Wow. I want to thank you, my brother, 19 Keys.
Thank you, because the reason I'm flowing today is because I've been researching so much lately. I'm writing books and things of that nature, and you've asked questions that allowed me to, speak a lot of the things that have been relevant on my mind and things that I've been studying, contexted in a particular way to an audience that I know would appreciate it. So I want to thank you.
Indeed. Keys, once again, one more time, tell the people how they can reach out to you, get some of your products. I know you got so many businesses, products that's available. You got speakings that lectures that you're doing across the country. Let the people know how they could get in touch with you, my brother.
Well, you can join High Level Club. High Level Club is free community that we have to where you will see all the links. We have books. We have crowns. This is actually a new crown that I just came up with. This is our High Level Cosmic Age crown. We made a few significant changes on this one. You feel me? We have, if you go to 19 Keys, you're going to see all of the businesses, the book club. We have a hike club coming out because we really want to get Black people moving, right? You're going to see some of the memorandums and projects that we're working on. We're focused on doing high-level partnerships with people that have platforms. I built the platform, and I didn't build a platform just for myself, right? And I can't do everything at all. I don't want to do everything. I want to work with people who are good at what they do. And the High Level Club is for that. So the Good Influence Club is helping people build out their brands, right? And partnering with those brands to help them scale. The book club is to help you develop your mind. When we do the fitness club, that is so that we outside doing hikes, we doing bonfires, we traveling, we got retreats. It's a whole community in the world. We having people build out their podcasts, things of that nature.
Excellent.
So you can find all of this at 19keys.com if that's something that appeals to you. And then you will also find all the things that we have going on as well. So you can follow my page at 19 Keys on YouTube. We do daily briefs where we're breaking down information such as the things that we're talking about today. Because I know that there's so much distraction in the world. We need more education and we need more focus. So I want to be that focus, right? I want to help curate that focus. If you're somebody that has skills in engineering and technology and design and editing, you can send a resume over to 19keys at 19keys.com for us to collaborate, for you to intern. We can't do everything. So if you see something that's missing in our platform, I challenge you to help us put it out there. You see something that we should be building and doing, I challenge you. Now, we can't get through everything instantly because our team is still limited by their duties and our capacity. But if you want to come help us so that we can do more, that's what we're here for. The movement of high level is for the whole culture.
Oh, yeah. Love it. Love it, my brother. I want to thank you for coming on once. Oh, shit.
Oh, there we go. Oh, no, that was me. That was me. I got you.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I want to thank my brother 19 Keys for